Hey everyone, so the wide body kits are in, and now we need to make our machine go from this to this. It's a little bit of work, but today we're going to show you the best way to go about doing it. And like we just saw in the before and after, all that we're going to be doing is taking the racking pegs and the guide rods and putting them on the outside of the machine. And the first thing we're going to do is take off the Smith bar. Now that the bar's out of the way, we're going to switch the guide rods to the outside of the machine and get rid of the old bearings. All we need to do for this is take the brackets that are on the bottom and the top and flip them to the outside. But when we do this, we want to make sure that the safeties switch sides. So I'm going to take this safety and put it on the other side, and then take that one and put it over here. Now that we have the guide rods on the outside of the machine, the next thing that we're going to do is rotate the Smith machine column. That way we have the pegs facing to the outside. But in order to do that, we are going to have to do several things to make that happen. So we're just going to break this down step by step and do one thing at a time. The first thing we're going to do is remove the 2-to-1 cable. Next, we're going to remove the weight stack. And now we're going to take this whole piece down. Now we're going to take the bolt out of this pulley wheel here. Then just scoot it down a little bit. Because here in a minute, the way that we're going to get this Smith machine column out is to tilt it this way. So that's why we removed all this stuff right here. You can go ahead and take the bolts out of the Smith machine from the bottom and the top. Now we just need to tilt this column that direction in order to get it out and turn it around. But you'll notice that it's in there pretty good still. And we really want to do this without scratching our machine, so we're going to have to loosen several bolts first. It's going to be these 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then these 2 bolts up here, so 1 and 2. After you loosen those bolts, you'll notice that it gives you a little bit more slack to work with. So now all you have to do is just press up a little bit on this part and tilt the column back until it slides out. So I will say that it's still going to rub a little bit on here, so there's a chance that it might leave a small scratch. It will be in an area that's not very visible, but if that is a concern for you, I would say to remove these 2 bolts back here completely, and then that'll give you even more slack to work with, and there should be no rubbing at all that way. So just tilt it back until it's out. Take it out, and then now we're just going to flip it the other direction, put it back in place. And before we put everything back in place here, we're going to go back through and tighten those bolts that we loosened a minute ago. Okay, and then now we're going to put our pulley wheel housing and weight stacks back on this side. When you're in the process of putting all the pieces back in place, I would recommend to look at the other side a few times while you're doing that, just to make sure that everything is going back exactly where it needs to go. And now we're going to reinstall the cable. If you need help with this part, just check out our HD1-S assembly video. We'll also put a link in the description. The wide body kit does come with some new bearings. And before we fasten this guide rod back to the bracket up top, we'll put that new bearing on. Before we put the new bar in place, we want to make sure we have these pieces in the correct order. So it's going to go bumper, safety, another bumper, and then the bearing. Okay, and then now we just need to put the new bar in place. But before we do that, we want to check the few set screws that are around this piece here and just make sure they're tightened down all the way so that the hook doesn't slide around. Okay, so now we just need to get the new bearings fastened to the bar, and you just want to make sure that you have the bracket piece on the bearing on the inside of the bracket for the Smith bar, just like this, if you can see that okay. Something I would recommend for this part is to just get the 4 screws in place first before you tighten them down. So kind of just how I have this one right here. There's a lot of play. I've only gotten it in place, and I want to do this to both sides before I fasten them down. That'll make lining up the holes just a little bit smoother. Okay, and there we go. We have our wide body kit installed and we're ready to go. Right quick, I would just say go back through all the parts that we moved and make sure you tighten down the bolts all the way. I hope this video was helpful, but if there's any questions that you have about any of the steps, just send us an email to support@blazzedfitness.com and we'll be happy to help with whatever you need.